Well, hello, I'm Scott Stevens, Goldsboro City Manager. Time for our September monthly update, and these things roll around pretty fast for me. I hope they're not repetitive for you. Seems that we have a lot to talk about, and this month's no different. So I'll start right in by just reminding us all summer's coming to an end. I enjoy all seasons, but summer is ending, and it might be my favorite. Kids are back in school, and for many of us parents, such as myself, that's a great thing, but also to all of us in the community, whether we have kids or not, it's a time to be more aware. There are buses on the roads, or kids driving to school, or parents driving their kids to school, and we just all need to be careful around our schools and around our kids on their way to and from school. So, please enjoy the ending of summer and the beginning of fall, but also be safe and look out for all of us in the community. Related to schools, I do want to mention one activity that's gone on in the community, I guess, over the summertime. Really a renewed interest in Goldsboro High School football, and some past players and folks that have ties to the school have been really fundraising and cleaning up and trying to improve at least the facilities for the football team at Goldsboro High School, and it's the Goldsboro Touchdown Club. And I only say it because if you've graduated from Goldsboro High School or wondered about going to a high school football game, I can't think of a better thing to do on a Friday night. And again, I would just encourage you to come enjoy high school football this fall. It's reasonably cost effective in terms of sporting events that you can attend. You'll see a lot of people you know, and I think you'll be impressed with the improvements, and come support the team. I think our kids really deserve that. So I would just say thank you to those involved in making it better there for the players at Goldsboro High School, but I would also encourage the community to come out and be supportive, particularly if you haven't been there in a while and just haven't had a good reason to come. Come check it out one Friday night. One thing for us in the city, and probably affects at least city employees a little more, is a renewed safety focus in our operation departments, for sure, from public works and public utilities and parks and recreation. It's important with all of our employees that we perform our duties safe, so we're not injured or we're not injuring our employees, but also so we're not subjecting you, the public, when we're working in the roadway or on sidewalks or in our parks, that we're not putting you in an unsafe area either. And we've always had a fairly good safety culture and safety program. It sometimes just takes a re-emphasis on what we're doing. We sometimes all overlook some simple things, and we had some of that occurring that we have worked to address. And one, I want to thank our staff that's really worked hard on coming together through the month of August, trying to make it so that, one, we're not hurting our employees. That's really my main goal. And secondly, that we're protecting you as the public moving through our work zones. I think you'll see us look more professional. I think you'll notice that. I hope you will. And if you do, please share with us, those working, that you appreciate their effort. And if you see something that doesn't look right from a safety standpoint, please don't hesitate to find me or anyone you might know with the city and report that to us so we can address it. Our goal is to do our jobs, serving the community in the safest manner possible. And so just want you to know that we have a re-emphasis on safety. I do want to thank the employees that are adjusting to that. Council did at least give a tentative approval to us refilling one of our safety officer positions. And some years ago, the city of Goldsboro had 2 safety officer positions. As retirements occurred and trying to shrink budgets, we have not refilled those positions. And I think that it is, we're a city of size and enough activity that one of those positions should be filled. So again, the council at their early September meeting was supportive of that. So you'll hear more of that from us as we go forward in the future. Appearances in the community continue to be important to the city council, trying to make Goldsboro look the best it can look. We have a lot of areas that I think are great. We have some areas that we could do better. We as a city and those of us that own those properties or run the businesses, I think we all have some work to do. And our message, or at least my message to you, would be encouraging you to do all that you can do as a citizen or business owner or visitor here to make Goldsboro its best, whether it's picking up trash or cutting the grass or cutting up back bushes or painting buildings. Please do what you can do. And where the city needs to be involved, please don't hesitate to call us in terms of doing the part that's our part to do that. Public space and improvements to our facilities. Sometimes we look at things and they look okay. Somebody else looks at them and they look not okay. It's just different eyes on it. So if you see something that needs improving that the city ought to be addressing, please don't hesitate to contact my office or email us or whatever works best for you. Because we want to do all we can on the city side to make it. We're just encouraging everybody to be part of that. I've talked about 311 GIS a number of times. I'll continue to share that for those that are less interested in calling, more interested in technology and sort of keeping up to date with what's going on. It is really good for non-emergency items, potholes, leaning or faded street signs, high grass or bushes or dilapidated structures or buildings or things that are non-emergency in nature that you'd like to have report to us. so that we can take action on that. And we will investigate whatever the report is. You'll get reply backs in email, and other folks can see what you've done online. But again, you would start at 311gis.com and create a username and move forward with that. So that's one way to report things, or as always, you can call us. But again, that's a non-emergency way of reporting work that you see out there. Sewer work on Mulberry, we've talked about that. We'll talk about that for a few more months, but the work has begun. We had an emergency repair. We went through an abbreviated bid, had quotes to do that. We awarded the bid to Keene Plumbing. They moved in several weeks ago, and it's the section from Pineview to Jefferson, and basically the hydrogen sulfide gas in the sewer had eroded the concrete pipe at the top of it, and so when you dug down, we had it collapse, blockage. When we dug down to undo the blockage, we basically found the top of the pipe was missing, or really non-existent, and so we are replacing several blocks of sewer line there. I do want to ask for the residents to be patient with us. It is very disturbing when it's out in front of you in terms of coming and going. It just makes it hard to get into your home, so it's disruptive to your daily life, and we understand that, but we appreciate your patience and working with our contractor as they move through the area. And ultimately, we will replace all of the sewer lines, several of the manholes, all of the sewer services serving the home up to a point where we install a sewer clean out the right of way. And then we're going to replace the water services while we're coming through there. So hopefully those 3 blocks of Mulberry will have all new utilities in terms of what's under the public space except for the water main. And then once we are done with that project and Keene Plumbing has left the site, we will resurface those streets. And so in the end, as a resident there, it will be better, but the next 3 months will be a little disruptive. So again, we appreciate your patience, and if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact us. I want to talk about violent crime in the city, and really just to say the numbers are down regardless of what's reported or what your impression is. Our numbers hold that violent crime within the city of Goldsboro is better than it's been in recent years, and so we have a concerted effort and focus on reducing violent crime within the community. But I know we've had articles recently that talked about the number of gunshots fired in the city and the number of officer vacancies that we have, and then the number of gangs in the city, and then most recently, early in September, we had our 4th homicide for the year. And so I don't want to tell you that violent crime doesn't exist, but I also don't want you to think it's worse than it's ever been and it's getting worse every day. It's not. Our numbers for this year, and we look at monthly reports to sort of compare where we are and how we're tracking, it's better. Our violent crime is down in Goldsboro. It's been trending that way for a number of years. We still have a ways to go, but I just don't want you to think that what's in the paper leads itself to think there's anything worse than what's really been going on. It is improving. One initiative we started almost 2 years ago now is GPAC, or Goldsboro Partnership Against Crime. I don't want to lend a whole lot of credibility to that making a drop in our number yet, but I'm very supportive and believe in the program, and really am pleased with all of those involved, from the court system to those with probation and parole, to our own Goldsboro Police Department and Captain Torrero, who's really leading that effort for us. We started it in late 2012. We've had 6 call-ins, and of those 6 call-ins, we've notified 117 of some of the worst offenders in our community. Of those 117, 13 have reoffended or have been charged with something. So again, that leaves another 89% that have not been charged with something, of some of the worst offenders over the last 2 years in our community. So while I think the program really does hold promise and doing something different in terms of trying to take people who are doing some violent things and turning them a different direction, that is the hope of the program. But if they don't turn and make that choice to lead a different life, then the next offense they have really moves them to the front of the line of the criminal justice system, and it's much quicker. It's not any maybe worse punishment for them, but they don't wait months and months and years for the justice system to talk to them. They do move to the front of the line. And so more to come on that as we move forward in time, but I do want to let you know we're focused on it, we're serious about it. I also want to mention our officer vacancies. That ebbs and flows all the time within police departments. When the economy's good, it's a little harder to attract new officers. When the economy's bad, we tend to be full. And we are down a number of officers, but we're working on efforts to recruit new officers to Goldsboro. And I just want to assure you that we are covering those areas, and our city is safer than it's been in many years. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact myself or Chief Stewart. We'd be happy to show you whatever numbers you'd like to see, but also really talk with you or any concerns that you might have related to public safety in Goldsboro. One focus of our mayor that he shared recently is asking our police department to focus on speeders in the community. I think you'll see a renewed effort on that. We put out a blitz sometime over the summer and focused on speeding in some areas. I think you'll see more of that. And the mayor's commented, if you're in a 35 miles per hour area and you're running 45, you ought to get a ticket. And so I would just encourage you to drive the speed limit within the city of Goldsboro. It'll make it safer. You really don't get there that much faster, and you don't put his other people in danger while you're weaving around them or pushing them to go down the road. So again, you'll see more of a focus from our police department, as the mayor has really identified that as an area that he believes we have some issues with. So we'll work to address some of those. I mentioned last month a discussion of a conversion from a fully automated garbage collection, or from a semi-automated garbage collection system to a fully automated garbage collection system for our sanitation division. Our Public Works Director did present a detailed presentation to City Council in August. The Council at this point is moving forward. I would expect we'll purchase trucks in the September-October timeframe. There's a 6 months delivery on the trucks, so it wouldn't be something we'd implement until the spring, probably early spring, late winter of 2015, but more to come on that. But just some things I'd like to share from his presentation. This first slide I will talk to you or share with you really talks about the objectives of our switch, and it's lower operating costs for the sanitation division, maintain a high level of service, have a safer, better working environment for our employees, and then finally trying to have a job for all employees that are currently here. So some will retire, some will look for opportunities in other departments or divisions. In terms of the cost, the analysis that is done, purchasing 3 fully automated trucks and replacing those crews, and so you buy 3 trucks to replace 3 trucks, but those 3 trucks reduce 9 positions. And so by doing that, the first 5 years, the savings per year is $83,000 per year savings after we're paying the debt service on the truck. And so we're financing the trucks over a 5-year period. We save $83,000 a year in salaries and benefits above the cost of the financing on those trucks. So that is a savings to the sanitation division from year 1. That includes a few garbage containers, a few hundred garbage containers, and so we do have some additional costs associated with that. But overall, the cost of the savings to the city by making this conversion, there is a cost savings in the sanitation division. Once the vehicles are paid off, and the vehicles probably have an 8-year life, 8 to 10 years, for the years that you have the vehicles with no debt service on them, our savings in salaries and benefits for those 9 positions would continue at $335,000 per year. So a significant savings in sanitation with really no difference in service to you as a customer, other than we are servicing it with a fully automated truck. And for those that don't know the difference, I do have a photo showing you what we call semi-automated. Really, it's a truck who's got a driver and 2 crew members on the back, and as the photo will show, our employees run out or move over, get the garbage container, bring it up to the truck, they hook it onto the truck dumps it. That's the semi-automated part. When it dumps down, the operator moves it back over to your yard where you had placed it. In the next slide, you'll see a fully automated truck, and the difference is in this one, it's a crew of 1. So instead of having a driver and 2 sanitation technicians with them, you have just a driver. And in this scenario, the truck reaches out, it grabs the garbage container, it dumps it, and it sets it back down on the ground. And in theory, this truck can service more in a day's time, more containers than the other truck, but it does operate with less people. It puts the driver in a heated cab in the winter and an air conditioning cab in the summer. They're not out in the rain subject to slip and falls. They're not out exposed to traffic where they could be crushed between a vehicle or hit by a window as somebody passes by. And again, I think you'll find that it is a very efficient system. It's not new. It's been used in a number of communities. It's been used for a lot of years. And so we're not on the cutting edge, but we are sort of moving up to technology and automation within our sanitation division. The automated trucks don't work everywhere. There'll be some areas with trees or with tight, narrow streets that will not work as well. And then, of course, our exempt customers who can't roll their container to the street will have still the service. If you have a medical exemption and the doctor says you can't physically move it to the curb, well, we will still service those containers with a semi-automated truck and the crew that goes along with them. But the savings to the city, in particular the sanitation division, is significant. A summary of all the movements that our Public Works Director, and I won't go into detail of these, so you know where the staff are going. We're talking about 9 sanitation worker jobs being removed as we make this transition. We're adding an additional 2 jobs in our collection and distribution, really to be more proactive in our sewer work. So there's 2 additional positions in the utility fund. We're moving 2 over to our streets and stormwater for grass cutting, trying to bring more of that in-house and do a better job with that. We're moving 1 to buildings and traffic to help with sign maintenance, and it really has made a difference. We've done that temporary move the last several months. We are making significant improvements in our street signs. We're moving 1, had moved to a Parks and Rec Department vacancy. We've had 2 that retired in August. We had 2 employees that retired, and we had 1 additional employee who left this summer. So we've really reduced by 4 employees, and the other employees will be transferred into other areas within the city. And so, again, if you have questions about that, please don't hesitate to contact myself or our Public Works Director, Jose Martinez, and we'd be happy to sit with you and talk a little more about that. couple construction projects I'd like to share with you, or activities within the city. Again, one I've mentioned before, it's the Wayne Memorial Sidewalk project from Wall Avenue to 9th. Our contractor is finishing that project. It is a project primarily funded almost 50-50 by the Department of Transportation and the city. Again, that project is almost complete. We have made additional requests to DOT for more of that money, where it's a dollar for dollar match, meaning they would provide $50,000, we would provide another $50,000. So the next $100,000 project that the council has authorized us to ask for was from 9th Street along Wayne Memorial to US 70. It completes that stretch, and then from Goldsboro High School up to Royal Avenue. And so if funding is approved for that, construction could probably begin as early as next spring. But I just want to know we have made that request, trying to leverage our local dollars with our state DOT funding. Royal Avenue widening is ongoing and has been for a month or so. I haven't talked with DOT to ask when they are completing that. It is a DOT contractor working there in a DOT funded project, but we'd expect, or I'd expect it to be completed in the next several months. And it is widening Royal Avenue for 3 lanes from Berkeley Boulevard all the way past Sunburst Drive or Freeman Motors. And so that should be improvement to the traffic flow for those that ride along that section of Royal. And then we've talked about our Tiger 5 grant-funded projects. Again, it's a 75% federal funds and 25% city funds. 3 projects: Center Street, which is awarded to TA Loving, Walnut Street, Streetscape, and the Transfer Center construction. Those 2 projects awarded to Daniels and Daniels. Those projects are underway, and both contractors are really making a show. So if you haven't been downtown to check it out in person, we'd certainly encourage you to do that. Or if you don't make it downtown, you still like to see what's going on, we have set up a webcam on the Center Street project, one located at City Hall and one located at the Paramount Theater. You can view those webcams, they're live footage anytime, by going, and also get other project updates or see video interviews with the project superintendents. Now at Goldsboro, it's www.goldsboronc.gov at our city website, so I would encourage you to do that. The last thing that I would like to mention today is Beak Week. I've got a flyer on Beak Week, and I just would cover the activities, but there's been a lot of partnerships in this and a lot of sponsors, and depending on when you see this, you may be in the middle of it or just before it or just after it. It is September 7th through the 13th, with the 13th being Saturday, and activities downtown from 11 to 5 on Saturday, September 13th. Leading up to that, there's a Tour de Coupe bike ride of visiting some existing backyard chicken coops. There's a scavenger hunt in downtown. There's a wing eating contest at the Flying Shamrock on September 9th. On September 10th, there'll be a signature sandwich contest, and the winners that day. September 11th, there'll be a foul play softball game, the Lawyers versus the Doctors, at the Boys and Girls Club, benefiting the Boys and Girls Club at 6:30 that evening. September 12th, there's a Hen Party comedy show, which is actually a fairly well-known group of comedians. There's a chamber event going on September 12th, and then September 13th, again 11 to 5 downtown, with live music, bands, and many other things. And so I'd encourage you to get involved and check out our website for that activity and others that are out there. Always, we're updating what's going on our Facebook accounts and our city website. I think there's a lot to do. Sometimes you've got to look for it, but there is a lot going on here in Goldsboro and Wayne County. And I think that does it for this month. As always, if we can be of service, please don't hesitate to call, email, or stop by. We are here to serve. We enjoy what we do, and we thank you for giving us that opportunity. So call on us if we can help. Thanks.